This is so nerve-wracking. Okay. Oh, okay, what do I do? Okay. Okay, we're fine. Okay. Hey y'all, I'm Isabella, also known as Mexican Bills on TikTok and Instagram. Welcome to my first ever YouTube video. This is actually very nerve-wracking. This video is basically going to serve as like my introduction and also like my April monthly reading wrap up. So I hope I don't disappoint y'all too much. I am just so nervous. I want to do well for y'all. But this is going to be a little bit more extensive on like my thoughts on each book that I read, rather than like a rapid fire situation that I do on TikTok. But yeah, I read 27 books and let's talk about it. I should also probably preface, just in case like one of y'all is watching this and you don't know me from TikTok, I know 27 books is a lot. I have very high functioning anxiety, and this is basically like my best form of self-care. All I like to do is read. This is like my main hobby. It's also now basically like another job for me. But I actually really enjoy this job. This does not feel like work. I just really enjoy it. And again, it helps my mental health. So yeah, so it's definitely not a competition by any means. I don't like to treat it as such, but I don't know, I just feel like this is the best way I know how to like manage my emotions and like anxiety levels. So yeah, but let's talk about the books. Okay, let's start. Starting us off, I absolutely really enjoyed this book. I had to see what all the hype was about. Think like vampires meets Hunger Games. It was so good. I'm already so excited to start book 2. I have it, but I gave this a 4 out of 5. I was lucky enough to get to read this very early. It was so good. I loved the first book in this series. It was Water Under the Bridge. So cute. This is like his brother and her best friend. They go on an entire like summer kind of like trip together. It was absolutely so spicy, so fun. Like it was hilarious. I ate this book up. It was so good. 5 out of 5. I usually don't go for single parent tropes, especially like dual single parents kind of situations, but this was really cute and really good, so I gave it a 4 out of 5. So this is book 4 in the Harris Brothers series by Amy Dawes. I'm actually not even a soccer fan, but I really enjoy these books. This is Gareth's story, and then I guess he has 2 books. So book 5 in the series is actually like part 2 to his story. This was really cute. It was like a very steamy, like friends with benefits kind of situation. It was really funny. I think Amy just does a really great job of doing like rom-com-y books, but it also was just very relatable, I feel like, in a lot of ways. And I just love how authentic her writing like feels when you're reading it. So it was really good. 4 out of 5. I loved like book 2 in this series. I did not know that the worst guy was technically book 2 in a series, but this is book 1. It is basically about like a trauma surgeon who has a crush from afar on this girl who ends up being like a sports agent, and kind of them just trying to navigate their feelings with each other when, you know, she says that she doesn't want a relationship, but I mean, like, he's a very sexy surgeon. So sis, like, what are you doing? This was actually so funny. I love Kate's writing. She writes really hysterical rom-coms, also just like great spice. So I really enjoyed this one, and I'm really glad that I got to read this, but it was just so funny. 4 out of 5 for sure. Okay, so I gave this a 3 out of 5, and it was not a bad book by any means. I am just not someone who really enjoys very angsty emotional books. I feel like there are very few that have those kind of like very high tension, angsty kind of plot lines, and some of them I have really enjoyed. I just am not someone who likes a lot of emotions. I don't do well with them. I am Nesta Archeron. It's fun. But this was good. I just gave it a 3 out of 5. I just feel like it was a little too angsty for me. It was still like a cute story, and I really did like their romance. Again, I'm just not like an angsty emotional person. But I feel like if you are, you will really enjoy this one. Okay, I love Megan Quinn, y'all. She's actually like a good friend as well. I'm not gonna lie to you, I absolutely love this book. Like, I would not lie just because an author is like a pal of mine. This book was so funny. Like, I love like a not so cute, so not meant to be, a long time coming. Those books are fantastic. I actually found this one to be even like funnier. Basically, this like screenwriter escapes, like runs away from his like best friend's wedding, and his best friend is marrying his like ex-girlfriend. And he basically just like kind of blows up their wedding, and it's just like, I gotta go, bye. It was so funny, and kind of just like his just how his like narrations were just so cute, like his point of view, because he ends up going to this like very small town to escape, and of course goes to the inn of like this girl he actually went on a date with like in the past, like a blind date, and he has no recollection of her, and she had like basically like one of the worst dates of her life. So it was just very funny. It was like kind of awkward, but like him like realizing like I was so dumb to let this girl like walk away, and like him kind of trying to like be a good friend because she's in a relationship now. It was just so funny, so cute. The things that he would do for her, I was just eating it up. Like, I think honestly this is like Megan's funniest book that I've read so far, and it's my favorite of hers for sure that I've read so far as well. So I think this one was great. 5 out of 5. I absolutely loved this book, y'all. I gave this 4 out of 5. This was really, really cute. Basically, this like playboy of the town. He works at a whiskey distillery. This also is the first book in like the Becker Brothers series, so it's like each of the 4 brothers gets their own book. But the first one starts off with Noah. Again, like he is a playboy, and of course he gets to meet like Ruby Grace, who is like the town's sweetheart. She's the mayor's daughter. She comes from like a line of mayors of this town. Very powerful like political family, and she's also engaged, buying her husband, like future husband, a whiskey barrel. And it's kind of just like her starting to question if this marriage is like actually what she wants. And the more time she spends with Noah and like the more that they become friends, this was so angsty and so good. But like, I loved it so much. This book, I feel like it just has so much like, you really relate to it. Like it is about growing up and finding like your path and what you want to do, but also like the relationship in this was just so cute because he was trying to be a good friend to her, and oh god, I ate it up. It was literally so good, and I cannot wait to continue on in the series. Catherine Cowles does such a fantastic job of doing like romantic suspense books, and honestly like I loved Whispers of You, which was like the first book in this new series that she has. But honestly, this one I feel like was even better for me. It is a friends to lovers, like they've been childhood best friends. She had moved away, they both had like mutual pining. She comes back literally out of nowhere, and he's trying to figure out like why and like what happened in her relationship that made her come back home so suddenly. It is literally just so good. Like I usually am not a friends to lovers girly, but I feel like this is like my favorite friends to lovers book like thus far. I gave it a 5 out of 5. It was literally amazing. This girl has broken up with like her longtime boyfriend. Like some time has passed, and his very wealthy, very sexy older brother decides that he needs a fake fiance, and she's the perfect girl for the job. Also, if you like smut scenes that are more than just one chapter, let me say that this one has 5 straight chapters of smut. 5 straight, like straight. Like I'm not like they're not taking a break. Like they are straight up still smutting it along, and it was actually so good. I loved kind of like the angst and tension in this book as well, but I also love fake dating, so it was just a really enjoyable read for me. I gave it a 4 out of 5. It was just so great. So I might be biased. This main character has, you know, like the best name ever. It's fine. But I will say that Anna Huang can do literally just like no wrong in my eyes. Like I love every single one of her books. I feel like every book she puts out is better than the last. She's just like an insta buy author for me. I absolutely adore her writing. But this one was so good. I feel like also her male lead was not like a super grumpy, possessive kind of guy. I feel like she does a really great job with those kind of like male characters in her books, but this one was just like the shy, kind of introverted, kind of nerdy, very intelligent man, and he had moments of possessiveness, but like I absolutely ate it up. Like I like that he was a little bit different than her other male like characters. I just also really loved their relationship. It's like very forbidden, very like opposites attract, but like it was just so good. And I feel like I don't even know. Like, I just feel like everything that she puts in these books, I don't even know what she puts in these books. Like, I literally could not put it down. Granted, I do read like a good amount of my day every day, but like, I could not put this book down. I enjoyed it actually so much, and I gave it, like, I feel like 6 out of 5. Like, I know Goodreads only does 5 out of 5. I gave it 6 out of 5. Okay, so let's also talk about the books I read on my Kindle. There's a lot of them. So I actually did this one kind of like Kindle / audiobook. I had to go to the Taylor Swift concert. I don't know if you've noticed that I have like some little like fake snake tattoos. They are not mine, but I had a Just As Reputation, and it's like a 6-hour drive to get to Atlanta from where I live, so I had some time to kill. But I am not usually one who really likes, you know, single parent like romances. I just felt like this one was really, really cute. Also, it had like, I wasn't anticipating like the level of spice either. It was actually really good. I like that he was like grumpy, tattooed, like a little bit older. She was like sweet, single mama. Like it was really cute. So I give this one a 4 out of 5. I gave this one a 3 out of 5. It is like a ex-boyfriend's dad kind of romance. I liked the taboo part of it. Like the spice was really good too. I don't know. I just feel like it was like a little slow paced for me, I guess. Like it was good. I just feel like it was the pacing was more what I struggle with. But it was still good and like the spice was great. Like I'm still going to read the rest of the series. I love this book with my whole heart and soul. Honestly, it was just so cute. It's like the town's golden girl and like the tattooed grumpy bodyguard. This is like book 2 in the When in Rome series. I loved When in Rome. It is literally just like one of my favorite books. It's also based off of one of my favorite movies, Roman Holiday with Audrey Hepburn. This one I think is supposed to be based off of like her movie Funny Face, because it is like a very opposites attract, almost like a makeover. She doesn't get a makeover, but she like asks him to help her with her dating life and kind of like be like a dating coach for her. This had all of the tension, all of the pun, and all of the sweet, blush-worthy, kick-in-your-feet kind of moments. It was absolutely so cute. There's not really a lot of spice. Actually, I felt like there was a little bit more spice being mentioned in this book than like her previous books, but it's definitely not going to be like a detailed experience. Although it was just still so good. I could not get enough of this book. Like I actually was really upset when it was over because it was just so cute and I just wanted them to be together so badly, and I just like was smiling and giggling and I just loved it. So I think if you like Sarah Adams books, I feel like you're gonna feel like this one is even better than her past ones. Because honestly for me, like I feel like this is like my favorite book that I've ever read by her, and she has so many that I've loved. So yeah, I really, really like this one. This one was really cute. This girl loses her mom, and literally like at the funeral, she comes face to face with this man who's like, hey, by the way, I'm your biological dad. And she kind of says that she's like in a situation where like her job life isn't really the greatest. Like she doesn't really have like her next move. She's got debt. And he says, well, if you move from LA, and you come with me to New Mexico, I have a house that I own, but if you want, like, help me fix it up, or like you fix it up and then you can sell it and you get to keep all the money. He's like, but I just like kind of want to get the chance to know you and kind of at least like provide for you in some way since I've missed your whole life situation. This was so good. There's also like a romance plot as well. But it was really just like about finding yourself and kind of just like what you do in the process of like healing and stuff. It was actually so good. I cannot wait to read like more from this author. I think I have like Big Chico's Don't Cry from her as well. And I'm actually really excited because this one, I wasn't anticipating liking it so much, but it was absolutely so good. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely really do enjoy this series. I love this author so much. I think this one was just kind of like an read for me. I've loved her other ones. I feel like it might have just been like a one-off for me. But basically this concluded like the St. Monarch series. It is like a very like organized crime, like mafia romance. It was good. I feel like I just liked and enjoyed some other ones in this series a little bit more. And I just feel like this one just kind of ended on more of like a, not a flat note, but kind of just like a, okay, like it tied up nicely. I'm still going to read everything else by this author because I absolutely adore her. And like, I just loved organized crime like books so much. I love dark romance books. I also feel like she's a really good author to turn to kind of dip your toe into dark romance because it's dark without being like super like you are in deep and maybe like having a lot heavier of like trigger warnings and things like that and like content. But I still really enjoy these books. This one was just like a 3 out of 5 for me. I think this one was like a one-off for me. I'd heard so many good things. I just didn't think it was for me. I feel like there were just a lot of moments where I was like, I had a lot of questions and a lot of just like question marks just kind of popping up. It was very spicy. I just feel like at the same time, it was just a lot of moments where I just wasn't vibing with it. So I gave it a 2 out of 5. I think maybe it might have just not been the book for me. The spice was great. So if that's what you're looking for, I think like that might be perfect for you. It just wasn't really like the book necessarily for me. So many of my mutuals absolutely like love these books in this series. This was really cute. It was a fake dating romance. He's trying to become mayor and she needs someone to like co-sign a loan so she can like buy this restaurant. It was really cute actually, and it was really funny. Like I could not stop cackling. Like it was just so funny, just like their banter and kind of like their situations and everything. It was really cute, so I actually gave it a 5 out of 5. I know that I give those pretty freely, but like just off of like the vibes alone, it was a 5 out of 5 for me. Like it was just spicy, it was funny, it was sweet, it was cute. I just loved it. If you like Sierra Simone's Pre-series and you also really like Sarah Kate's like Salacious Players Club series, I feel like this is like a good mix of the two because it is like a sex club. And you also kind of get like the religious like trauma aspect of it as well. At least if you grew up Catholic like I did, I feel like there's a lot of moments where like these characters do a lot of self-reflection on like why they might feel a certain way about sex or anything like that. But I feel like it was very relatable, but I also feel like it was a lot of fun as well. Like you did have a good mix of like heavy and like spicy fun moments. The spice in this was really, really great. This is like an age gap romance. He's also a widower. He's also a single dad. And she's kind of like the fun, sexually free, like very young, like early 20s kind of girl. It was really cute, really fun. But like I said, the spice was really, really great. And I feel like also if you carry that Catholic religious drama, you might relate a lot to this book. But I think if you like, yeah, like the Sierra Simone Pre-series and Sarah Kate's Salacious Players Club, I feel like you're just gonna love these. So, and this is book 2. So I give this a 2 out of 5, and I feel like maybe I might have enjoyed it had I read some of the other books in the series maybe, or I don't know, maybe it was just like me. I felt like there was just a lot of different plot lines. Like I felt like there were a lot to keep track of. And maybe like if that's just like also like a not, like that's just like a me thing. Like I don't like it to be like too kind of crazy with plots where there's like more than one kind of situation. I think the spice was really great. There were like some really cute moments. I just feel like it was just a lot of different things going on, and it just felt like there was a lot to like keep track of and like balance with. So I think it was like, it was still had good moments and the writing was good. I just feel like for me personally, it just felt like there was a little too much going on. But if you don't mind that, I feel like this might be a good book for you. I feel like I don't know how many there are in this series, but I know this might be like book 3 maybe. But yeah, it just wasn't necessarily the book for me. I really loved Make It Sweet by this author, so I wanted to give this one a try. Basically, like, they were kind of like childhood enemies, and he's also like her sister's ex-boyfriend, and she has to essentially become his like personal assistant and like personal chef to pay off a debt because her sister stole something from him when she was his personal assistant and she's like gone missing, right? So they kind of like come to this agreement where like she has to work off the debt that her sister like owes, and they were enemies. Like they did not get along growing up, anything like that. But like, I thought it was good, but at the same time, I feel like I needed, like, a little bit more meat to the story or just, like, a little bit more attention. I felt like it was still good, and, like, the spice was great. The banter was good. I love an enemies to lovers, but I feel like maybe I was just comparing it a little too much to kind of, like, the storyline and Make It Sweet, which they're not related whatsoever, but that's kind of just where I was. So, it was okay. I think other people might like this a lot more than I did. I feel like maybe it was just me, but I still thought it was good. It just, yeah, it was a 3 out of 5 for me. I am so upset with myself that I hadn't read this sooner. It is like a forbidden Hollywood romance between this like leading lady and this like very famous like director. And it's forbidden. Like they don't want to be in a relationship because like he doesn't want to have like to repeat the same mistakes from his past, and she also doesn't want anyone to think that she just like was given this role just because she happens to be seeing him kind of deal. But it was so good, and in typical Kennedy fashion, like it's emotional, it's very sexy, very steamy. You also have great spice. I think I just loved these two so much. Like their relationship was so cute, and just like they had some of the steamiest, spiciest, sweetest moments. Like, I just wanted to give them both little forehead kisses because I absolutely adored them so much. It is a happy ending, so do not worry about that. I know that sometimes people are a little nervous to read this one because they hear that it is like emotional, but I absolutely loved it. And I don't do well with feelings. I don't. But I absolutely loved this one. I got this one without realizing that it's like book 3 in a series of like interconnected standalones. It's like each book is a different sibling. I got the last one. I don't know how I did that, but somehow Amazon did not let me know that this was book 3. But basically, like, this girl moves into her like aunt's house, and the next door neighbor is like a very grumpy man. She's trying to figure out like her next steps, and they just do not get off on the right foot. But they also realize that they both have very intense attractions to each other. Kate Canterbury does really funny, sexy, spicy books. I feel like this was really, really great. I want to read through the rest of her backlist, so this was a 4 out of 5 for me. I got the arc of this. I actually haven't read anything else in Marin's like hockey series, and I know this is book 6, I believe, and it's supposed to be like the last one. So actually this made me want to go back and read the other ones, because I also love like sports romances. But this was so good, so funny. It is an age gap. They literally have like a one-night stand, and then they find out that they're gonna have to work together. And she is also his coach's daughter, and he's like such a playboy, like just so much going on. But it was so funny, so good. It actually was like very spicy and steamy. I absolutely loved it, but it was so good. So I give this one a 4 out of 5. So I loved Reluctantly Yours, which is like book 1 in this series. This is book 2. I was lucky enough to get an arc of this. It was so good. Like I just love little cinnamon roll men. The things that he would do for her and say to her, and just like their romance. They basically like get wasted in Vegas, get married. She also just like got dumped by like her longtime boyfriend, who happens to get engaged on her birthday. So she meets him. He is like an exotic dancer. It's almost like a Magic Mike situation, like that kind of club where they meet. And then yeah, they get married in Vegas, and just to kind of like save face with like the press and everything, they decide like they're gonna kind of stay married, because she also just has like all these work things going on. She's like a fashion designer, and she's getting, you know, interviewed and like covered in these magazines and everything. And it is just so steamy, spicy, and so stinking cute. Like I loved them so freaking much. And I loved book 1. Like Reluctantly Yours, I loved. This book I loved even more. I gave this like infinity out of 5 stars. This is like one of my new favorite books of all time, and it was so funny. But their spice was great, their banter was great, like their tension, their pine, and their angst, like it was just all so good. Like everything I could have wanted more. I loved this book so much. So I feel like I could talk about this book forever. I feel like this is just, yeah, like my new favorite book. It was literally that amazing. Also, sorry if it's like a little kind of, there's a lot of glare. Okay, so this is Don't Let Me Down by Kelsey Ray. This is like her last book in the Don't Let Me series. I actually really like this one. I was lucky enough to get like an early copy of it. It's about Mia, who kind of just feels like she's like the misfit of the group. Like she just feels like she isn't making the best like choices, and she kind of just feels like her life is always very messy. And then a very sexy, a little bit older, like a billionaire, and kind of just like their very opposites attract. He's very prim and proper, buttoned up, and she is just like a wild card. And I absolutely really enjoyed this book so much. I feel like Kelsey Ray's like entire Don't Let Me series was just so fun and so enjoyable. But I really loved Mia's story. I feel like Mia is kind of just like, I don't know, she's like the bad girl, right? Like she's got tattoos. She's like very like, I don't care, has an attitude. And it was just so refreshing to kind of have like that mixed with like a very like buttoned up, very like pristine kind of man. I kind of like the juxtaposition. Usually you get like the good girl, bad guy, kind of like bad boy kind of situation. I feel like I really liked their kind of dynamic a little bit more. But it was funny. They had like some really cute moments. Like their banter was really great. But yeah, I really like this one, and I feel like if you like the rest of the series, you're going to enjoy this one. Last but not least, I did book 8 of Zodiac Academy. Is the newest book that has come out. I want to say that I have loved Zodiac Academy books. I think the series was just so fun. I don't even want to say it was like a guilty pleasure, because I don't think with any book you should feel guilty for liking them. But I just like that they were different and they were fun, and you just had kind of a lot going on. And I love fantasy books. I also liked that they had like spice, and they had just kind of like so many crazy plot lines as well. Like I feel like it was just a lot of fun. But this book I felt like was just way too long. And if you look at, like, I think on Kindle it's like 1,200 pages. I honestly feel like it was 800 pages too long. Which makes it really sad, because I loved this series so much, and now like I know that there's like another book, at least one more coming out. But I just feel like there are way too many points of view, It was way too long. There was just a lot of stuff that did not need to be in the book. It just felt like there could have been a lot more editing. I feel like there was just a lot that was just not necessary to the plot or to the characters, and I just feel like some of the characters were acting a little crazy, and it was just like, it felt like there was just too much kind of going on. And usually I don't mind in these books that they have like a lot of different things happening and different characters to watch out for and different, you know, plot lines and everything, different relationships. But it just got to the point where like I just wanted to skip past multiple chapters. And it just felt like we didn't even really hear too much from the twins, you know what I mean? Which is how it started. I feel like we were getting a lot of chapters that were from the perspective of like side characters that I don't even like remember or really cared about or really just like were important to the plot. So it just felt very, I don't know, just very drawn out. And I'm like, I'm not even really excited about book 9 to come out, which makes me really sad because I loved these books. Like I would always recommend these books, and this one was just not very fun for me. So I don't know if it was maybe because like the more page turns you get in Kindle Unlimited, the more money they make, or I don't know. I really don't know what the situation was, but I just felt like there was just so much in this book, and it was just very disappointing to me as a Zodiac Academy fan. But yeah, maybe I'll still read book 9 because I really want to see kind of how everything ends. But I also just felt like we were just getting way too many like extra plot lines and extra like enemies to worry about, and I just feel like there wasn't a lot of resolution. I feel like if you go from like where book 7 ended to book 8, really not a lot happened. Like it literally felt like it was just, I mean, this, I don't even know how many chapters, but let's say like the 1,200 pages if you read it in a book or a Kindle. I feel like there really wasn't that much that occurred. Like I feel like only so many chapters were important. I also feel like, I don't know, Lance and Darcy were just getting it on a lot considering they were literally in prison. Like, I don't know if that was just me, but I just felt like, I mean, like, I love spice. I'm never going to say no to, like, smutty chapters and spice, but I feel like their spice was just a lot considering, like, their situation. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. This is a very long explanation. I don't know. I was just, like, very disappointed in this one. So I gave it a 2 out of 5, which I really hate to do, but it just, yeah, it felt like, I don't know, like, it didn't fit the other books, and it just didn't have the same, like, I don't know, like, I didn't have the same connection to this book that I had with the others, which I was a little disappointed on. Okay, so that was all 27 of the books that I read in April. Like I said, it is not a competition. If you read one book, that is totally fine. If you read 50 books, that is also totally fine. It is your preference, your life, your time, your money. It is literally just you. So if you want to read that much, you don't want to read that much, that is totally fine. This is just, you know, my main hobby. It's what I love to do. So I do read a lot, but it also is like my best form of self-care. So take that how you will. You know, if you want to read more, I'm always going to encourage it. I feel like reading is very helpful, at least to my mental health. Maybe you might like it. It might help you even, but yeah, I never want anyone to watch these videos and be like, this girl is insane, or feel like I'm pressuring you to have to be a certain way. Like, that's definitely not it. I just love reading so much, and I always have, and I feel like it's just helped me a lot mentally. Also, I hope this video helps if you want to read any of these books. Definitely, if you feel interested in reading something and maybe I didn't necessarily recommend it or I didn't necessarily vibe with it, I definitely think you should still give it a chance, because maybe I just wasn't the right audience for that book. But I feel like it's definitely worth a try if you are intrigued or you feel like it might be the book for you. That's totally fine. I feel like what's so great about being a reader is that we're all so different. We all like different things. And I feel like that's, you know, the beauty of getting to read books and literature and everything like that, just art in general. Something's going to speak differently to you than it would to me, and vice versa, and both are completely valid. But I have a very full TBR, so I'm going to get back to reading. I hope this was, you know, a good first look at my YouTube channel if you've stayed, you know, this long into this. I hope to be doing these like a weekly kind of video situation, but yeah, I hope this was a good first start, and I will see y'all very soon.